Today we're going to be sketching some heads. If you're working in comics, there's no way around it. You're going to be drawing a lot of heads. You'll be drawing them from above, below, profile, head on. So having a good fundamental understanding of the shape of the head is a good place to start. You've probably heard of Andrew Loomis as well as Bridgman, and these are really good books to use. But today I'll be using something a little different. This is Mike Hawthorne's Anatomy Lectures. Today I'm using this book not just because Mike Hawthorne's an amazing artist, but also because he's a comic book artist, and he's a teacher. So he has a very unique understanding of the subject matter. If you'd like to check this book out, I'll be leaving a link in the comments below, so you can check it out on his Gumroad store. You can purchase it on PDF or get the print version like I got here. I highly recommend it. And fuck dude, support other artists. Everybody has trouble areas and blind spots when it comes to drawing. In this case, the head, my problem areas tend to be where the head connects to the neck, as well as the back of the head. So I like to focus the first couple of drawings warming up solely on that. It's my understanding that a lot of people have a bit of a hard time with that spot under the chin and between the throat. I have a hard time with that as well, kind of selling the idea that there's an entire plane under there. So I decided to sketch a little bigger on that and really focus on getting that to be nice and defined. Facial features are pretty straightforward. If you notice, I tend to divide my head into thirds. I've gotten that from reading a lot of Andrew Loomis's stuff. If you guys would like for me to make a video on how I approach the head, let me know. At the moment for this video, I'm just going to be focusing on mostly where the head connects with the neck. When you're drawing anything, you tend to start with the larger shapes and forms and then move on to the smaller ones. As you can see, the neck has a very deep V. That's a big focus because a lot of the elements tend to flare out from that V. Try to think of these shapes as tubes or masses. You don't want them to be two-dimensional in your head, otherwise they're going to come out two-dimensional on the page. You want to really try to configure a three-dimensional space. The back of the head is quite unique. It has these neck muscles that go up pretty high, and that's where the base of rotation basically forms. It might not be the most exciting angle, but it's important to know the back of the head. Working in comics, you tend to do a lot of over-the-shoulder shots and two-man shots, so understanding the structure of the back of the head is quite important. I like to reinforce what I've just learned, so what I tend to do is after I learn a new piece of anatomy, I try to draw it from memory once I've gotten it from the book. That one came out pretty good, actually. It's not very often that you'll be drawing things perfectly head-on or in a perfect profile, so I highly recommend you invest some time on working in three-quarter angles and using subtlety from your bird's eye and worm's eye views so you can have an understanding of the top surfaces and bottom surfaces of the head. Ultimately, your goal is to establish a sense of structural integrity in your art, and a lot of that has to do with keeping in perspective and understanding the subtleties of how it affects your forms. If there's a particular angle that you don't like, chances are it's because you're not very good at it. And for me, it's this one. That worm's eye view does hell for my self-esteem, so I make sure to take a little extra time and to draw it. But not just the same one, try to draw it from slightly different angles. That way I can get a kind of 3D understanding in my head of how it actually comes together. If you dig these videos, make sure you subscribe and tell your friends. And if you'd love to support this channel, you can check out our Threadless shop as well as our Gumroad store where you can buy our comic books and merch. Thanks again for watching. Now go make some comics.